welcome back to my channel. My name is Tayo, the adult immigrant. If you're new here, I want to say thank you. I vlog about my life as I transition as an adult immigrant from Nigeria to Canada. I recently moved to Canada February of this year, and I've been journaling my experiences as it happens, online real time. If you're coming back, I want to say thank you. You can tell by the progress in my videos that I'm encouraged by you guys. You guys are the real MVPs. And because of you, I'm doing this. Thank you for your responses. Thank you for your encouragement. And thank you most especially for watching every week on this channel. So today, we're talking about driving in Canada. One of the most important things that you have to do on your list of hierarchy of needs, as I always say, in Canada is to be able to drive. Get your driver's license to be able to drive. Sorry guys, you can hear my son. I've been struggling to shoot this video, but the boy just doesn't want to keep quiet, so I'm just going to shoot the video. It's so important if you are one person that likes likes flexibility and do not want to actually rely on people to take you there, here and there. And most of us are like very independent from our countries, and then we get here, the weather doesn't help, and then if you don't have friends or family that live around, you are relying on transport services or people or Uber, which is very expensive. I'm not sure you want to spend your proof of funds on that. So the most important thing that you should think about is getting a driver's license and being free enough to drive in Canada. I think that if you can achieve that, it just leads you in the right. It might seem very minute, but it's such a big deal. It pushes you up for progress, makes you know that yes, you can be successful in Canada. That's how I felt anyway. So stick around, watch this video to the end, because I'm going to end the video with fees, a breakdown of fees, and because I know a lot of you are doing budgeting and everything but I'm going to just start with the details, then we'll end with fees. So watch till the end. So the first thing that you need to do once you land Canada, one of the first things, because I keep saying the first things, is you download these apps. If you're coming to Ontario, this is specifically for Ontario. There are these apps that we downloaded on our phone.
So check out this app or this app, and then you'll
be able to just download them. What I did was that I just dedicated 4 good days of trying out this questions. So you will miss it tells you right answer, that kind of thing. Practice and then practice like every exam. I'm sure when you did your IELTS, it's pretty easy, but then you needed to practice. Do not underestimate this test because people do fail. There are 2 sections. The first license that you want to get as you land Canada is the G1 driver's license. The G1 driver's license is the knowledge-based driver's license where you'll be tested on your knowledge of the signs, the signages, and also fines and demerits. That if you do wrong, what will happen to you? That's what demerits are all about. So it's very, very important that you actually practice for this test and then ensure that you pass this test because there are cost implications. So when you download those apps, you'll be able to just dedicate about 4 days of total focus. Do not underestimate it. You driving 20 years in Nigeria or your home country, wherever you're coming from, doesn't mean that it's going to be a walk in the park. You need to practice. So when you start to practice, just try as much as possible that you get all the fundamentals. When you go to the drive test center, you will be given, it's like a computer-based test, and you sit down there and you write it like in a closed room. You walk in, pay, you walk in, pay, and then you sit down in a closed room, and then you're expected to answer 2 sections of 20 questions each. The first section is the science questions, where and you're expected to fail only 4. So the target should be 2020. You are only allowed to fail 4. If you fail more than 4, then you failed. The second section is the demerits and the rules and regulation of driving on the road. Also 20 questions. If you fail more than 4 questions, you have to rewrite. I did my own 3 times. I thought I was ready. My husband, on the other hand, did his own once. He only failed 1 on each section. For me, when I did the first time, I failed the 2 parts. And I was like, oh my God. But thankfully, you have an opportunity to rewrite. So I immediately paid and I rewrote the 2 sections. Second time, I passed the science section and I failed 5 in the other section. I was like, oh my God. Then the lady came to me and said, you know what, that's okay. People do this. Why don't you buy the handbook and then go and study? I was like, hey, madam, you don't know that this one is a Niger babe. Die hard. So I decided, I told my husband, I'm going to write it again. I'm not leaving here until I pass. So I paid again and I wrote it the 3rd time. That's when I passed the second section. The good thing is that when you pass one section each time, you don't have to when you pass a section anytime, you don't have to redo that section. You can just retake the section that you didn't pass. So holistically, you need to just fail 8. You can't fail more than 8 out of 40. So you need to prepare for that. Prepare to pass everything. So the next stage is the G2 license. The G2 license happens. So if you're a new driver, and maybe in your country you never drove, or you drove for less than 2 years, then the next level for you will be the G2 license. Let me explain better. So for me, I didn't bother to do the G2 license, to walk towards the G2 license, because when I was coming from Nigeria, I came with my old driver's license, and I also came with a letter from FRSC that I've been driving for more than 10 years. So it has to be from FRSC that you've been driving for more than 10 years. So I submitted that when I went to do the G license, G1 written test, and my G2 was waived for me. So that automatically, not even the cost, it saved me about 8 months of waiting, because if you don't have driving history or road drive history, then you have to go to G2, and G2 is not immediate. You have to first of all go and sign up in one of the registered driving schools, do a couple of driving classes. Then when the instructor is satisfied that you're ready for the road, he signs you up for a G2. And this period is about 8 months, so you have to wait about 8 months. And once he certifies that you are ready, then he signs you up for a G2 road test. But for me, that was waived for me because I came to Canada with my driving history. So I automatically paid for, immediately after my G1 written test, I immediately paid for my G road test, and that's it. So what you have to do before you do the G tests, you have to now go and get an instructor, and then the instructor will get you comfortable on the roads. There are a couple of things that you need to watch out for. You sign up to an instructor or a driving school, a registered one, or if you're lucky you get someone to drive it. I was lucky. I met an Uber driver, and he just out of nowhere, he lives around me, and he just said he could come and teach me how to drive in Canada. We went for about 5 classes, pre-COVID lockdown, and that was it. So I didn't have to pay. So you have to do, don't even run away from it. You drive in Nigeria, you have to unlearn Nigerian ways to learn Canada ways of driving. And it's so important that you actually, so I know a couple of my friends that they did 1 or 2 tests and they passed the G road test, but it's advisable to do about 4 to 5 tests, if possible 6, so that you can be comfortable enough to drive on the day of the test. So once you feel comfortable enough, you can go ahead and book for a G road test. For me, immediately I passed my G1 license test and I got it, I immediately booked for my G. So that way, that way I know I had a timeline, and I needed to practice and be comfortable before that time and just do it, So once you're comfortable, then you can go online and book for your G road test, and then the rest is history. Once you pass the G test, you have such a feeling of liberation, like freedom, because yeah, there's public transport in Canada, but when it's cold, it becomes is I don't know what's like. I don't know how to. If you don't drive here, like driving is not a luxury. It's such a necessity that to buy groceries, some places, like I remember before I started driving, there was a place I wanted to go to that was 16 minutes away from my house. I looked at the map, and 16 minutes if I drove, then if I took a bus, it was going to take me 2 hours to get to the same place. So can you beat that? That's crazy. So because the transport system is such a way that it has to go around and pick people up, sometimes it goes to another city before it comes back to where you're going. Unlike if you're in your own car, when you just go straight, you know what I mean? And sometimes you can actually manage your expenses when you have a car. Then you don't, I don't know, it's just, that's another thing for another day. So once you pass your G road test, you are free. You are now a G driver's license owner, and it comes with its benefits, your car insurance, everything. You will see the benefits of having a G. You are even confident enough to actually drive on the road. So let's talk costs, because I know that this is one question a lot of people, how much should I budget for I get that a lot anyway, how much should I budget for driving tests and all them stuff. Okay, for me, when I did my G1 written test, so there are two prices. So if you want to do your G1 written test alone, because you came with your driving history from the country that you're coming from, you pay only $106 each. If you do not pass it at one sitting, then you have to pay for a receipt, and that is $16 per receipt. So I had to pay $16 twice to actually pass it. So it's $106 each for the G1 license written test, the computer-based test, and then you pay $16. And if you want to do a retake, it's advisable you do it there and there and move on. However, if you do not come to Canada with your driving history and you want to do G1 then G2, there's a combination, there's a package that you pay for the two at once. And for that G1, which comes with the G2, you pay $159. So that way you don't have anything else to pay. You just go book for your G2 license. Yeah, that's about it. So if you have your history, you pay if you have your history, you pay $106. If you do not have your history, you pay $159 point something. So just budget about $160, yeah? Then if you now want to move to the G, so you see that if you want to move to the G driving road test, you pay $91.25. So that's about $92. $91.25. There's something you need to know. You have only one chance to attempt the G road test. I'm going to repeat it. You have only one chance to attempt the G road test. That's awful, right? But that's the reality. So in the event that you fail the G road test, you need to now go back and then you now sit for the G2 road test. G2 license isn't bad. However, you can't drive on the highway. So even your road test is actually for your neighborhood. So if you want to get anywhere, there's always a neighborhood route and there's the highway route. Obviously, the highway routes will always be faster, but the neighborhood routes also exist. So people really like to actually just go to G. But in the event that you fail the G, you don't have an option to retake, unlike the G1. You now go back and take the G2 road test. And the cost of taking the G2 road test alone is $53.75, and that's like $64. So you might want to put that in your budget. So I've said three things now. G1 knowledge test plus G2 is $159, approximately $160. G1 knowledge test alone is $106. If you fail it and you want to redo it, you pay $16 each. G road test is the ultimate one that everybody aspires, people that have driving history have aspired to have, is $91. However, you have only one attempt to actually do that test. In the event that you failed it, then you have to go back and do a G2, and the cost of doing a G2 alone is $53 only. I hope you guys suck that in. So you might want to put that in your budget. Know that all these costs are inclusive of the license you get is 5 years, will expire in 5 years. So yeah, there's one on a lighter note. On the day that you're going for your G1 written test, kindly ensure that you look presentable, because you're going to take a picture, and the picture you take is going to be on your license for 5 years. I didn't know that, and my picture was not great at all. In fact, as a matter of fact, I'm not sure I took my bath that morning. It was winter and I was struggling with the weather. I just wore my jacket and went. So look at it.
I have to live with this for 5 years. So
you guys ensure that you actually look decent. If you're a guy, make sure you have a clean haircut. If you're a woman, try to brush your hair and look decent, because you don't want to see that picture 5 years in 5 years and be like, okay, what was I thinking? So that's about it for driving in Canada. I will, in subsequent times, I have snippets of my drive test somewhere. I'll put it together and maybe show you guys. But yeah, unlike Nigeria, you can't film your videos everywhere, so couldn't film the video in the drive test center and in the car. So I'll have to think about if it's worth putting it together as a YouTube video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been very useful for you. If you think that this resource will be useful for anybody kindly remember to share with them, and you remember to like and subscribe to my channel, because every week I'll be sharing with you like videos of events happening in my life as a transition as an adult immigrant in Canada. So till next video, peace out.